I am El Presidente.
Who is El Presidente?
He's a dictator from a small island nation that he hopes will be able to maintain their freedoms for their people. He's in the middle of, unfortunately, a revolution. He's trying to empower the people by helping them to understand they need strong leadership now. Anton Castillo is, of course, very different. He takes matters into his own hands when he has to and makes those difficult decisions, and may not be the dictator that his father was. He's hoping he has surpassed his father as such, but he still deals with his personal pains of his life. And as a child, he was a child slave, and he, although being born with a silver spoon in his mouth, was unable to rule until the revolutionaries that ousted his father were put away. So he's had a lot of difficult situations to deal with. We meet him at a time where he's trying to empower his son to take up his mantle and really embrace ideas that would allow him to see that soon he will probably be the next leader of this country.
I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands.
Papa.
Now.
It has some very interesting political ramifications and social ramifications for how we are governed, guided, ruled in our world. And Anton is very complicated coming from events that happened in his life, and does want the best in the end, does want the people not to sell out the country. And these are very primary questions that so many, I think, presidents and local leaders in small countries ask themselves. You know, when they get in bed with America, things change. But does Anton want that in his country? I don't think so.
They will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong.
We've seen footage of you in the mocap suit. What kind of challenge did this present to you to work in a virtual space?
The challenges are to create that world virtually within your own imagination. That, to me, was the greatest challenge. You know, we were lined up here with a really great schedule from the folks at Ubisoft, and wound up shooting the trailer, I believe, first, to be able to give folks who were working on the game for so many years models to go by. So that was awkward and odd to me, because when you shoot the trailer, you're shooting certain scenes of the whole, and so you're not shooting in order. Thankfully, we were able to shoot some very personal scenes between Anton and Diego for the trailer that would capture people's attention. But it's not like going and starting to do the whole piece. And so when we came back to do the piece, I was more well aware of the elements to work through that I didn't have. And that's costume, and that's, you have sort of props that you can use, but you don't have a lot to work with. So it's really a cultivation.
We're not wielding a lightsaber here. We're not breaking lightsabers.
I'm not wielding a lightsaber on top, on top of my TIE fighter.
Right.
Can do all that, but certainly don't have that visual or that feeling to work with. So challenging in that way, and I loved it, because that's what I do. You know, I create the space within myself so that you can see the reflection in my eyes, what the character's going through, what decision might he make, what turmoils, what trials and tribulations. With this, I'm interacting with someone who eventually will be the player. So I try to keep that in my consciousness as well, that by my actions, it could prompt the player to take certain actions that will alter the story. Right. This is a fabulous world.
Is this kind of storytelling something that you want to continue doing?
I think it's a brand new world for me, and yes, the answer is yes, as long as I could do the next 2 or 3 Far Cry games, because these folks are make it real specific. These folks are the folks to work with, and I credit this Ubisoft and this game with really cutting my teeth. And I would do more. I would love to. It's a fascinating world to dive into, and it's a collaboration that for me has been unforgettable.
So if there is the option to do 2 more Far Cry games, does that mean El Presidente survives this narrative? Or is...
Well, I can't speak to whether he survives or not, because I want you to have the juice of knowing, of having that excitement, that excited moment. But whether he does or not, I don't care. I'm a chameleon. I'll do whatever I have to do to convince you that I'm some other character in a Far Cry game, if need be. And maybe it should be the good guy next time, because I'm really kind of sweet and lovable. But who knows?
Have you seen any cuts of Mandalorian season 2?
Last
we talked, we heard about the lightsabers breaking, so I know this is a very intense season.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything. I know they're working away because the very generous and graceful Jon Favreau, I've had a chance to have some conversations with him, so I haven't seen any of 2 yet. But it's gonna be power packed. I think in John's mind, he's probably already writing 3. But I'm excited for the audience to see this. This is a Western that is so synonymous with what we need to be practicing right now, coming from the connection to Joe Campbell and The Power of Myth, which is the book that Joe Campbell, a great mythologist of our time, wrote, that George Lucas was so very enamored with and friendly with. That story should be iconic. And Mandalorian's iconic. It's a hero's journey. It's a hero's story, and people need heroes right now. We don't have heroes that we can look up to, so we got to be each other's heroes. And so that's what Mandalorian does for us. It allows us to stand up and see an example of someone just doing his duty in service to someone else, and the journey. And isn't that enough to teach us that all the trials and tribulations that we're going through now can be changed through the voice and the commitment of the people?
They will answer you with screams, call you evil.
And because you are so brilliant at playing villains, and when I saw this trailer, when I saw footage of you as El Presidente, I definitely got some Gustavo Fring vibes.
Well, how can you not get a little flavor that the guy is the Latin electric light bulb juice? But you'll see in the story, because of the venue, because it's a game and you don't have 6, 8, 10 episodes to meet and enjoy a character, you have a few hours to play your game that takes you through a larger and more in-depth look at a character. And so you'll see very clearly with Anton Castillo, his joy, his pain, his suffering, and the reason he makes the decisions he does. It's such a delicious character to be able to share with you guys. I'm really proud of him.
And give you this. So you tell me, are you evil?